In 1998, after spending almost a decade in the front office, Ed Wade was named Phillies general manager. He inherited a second-tier ball club with an aging stadium and a skeptical fan base. But Ed Wade had a plan: get good and stay good. I was lucky enough to join Ed as assistant GM the following year, and I got a front row seat to a masterclass on how to build a champion.
He just had a knack for finding the right talent and understanding the significance of what it is to play Philly baseball.
He's a very knowledgeable baseball man. That came to my attention real quick.
You know, my first impression of Ed was he was a very serious person. He took a lot of pride in what he did with the Phillies.
Ed is remarkably thorough. He can think big picture, but he has a great ability to take the big picture and reduce it down to all the necessary details to implement.
When you think of baseball and you see Ed Wade, it's like they didn't go together.
You kind of looked at Ed and he had this sort of professorial look to him. Behind that was a fierce competitor.
You could irk him a little bit, maybe make him a little bit upset, but the next day it was always over with Ed, and I always respected that about him.
Ed's got a very good sense of humor, very dry. He can be funny, he can be really funny.
My first hit is a grand slam, which is like, you can't even fathom thinking about that as a kid. But Ed Wade, Larry Boa, and John Kruk called me into Larry Boa's office. At first, I was kind of buying it, honestly, because Ed Wade was in there.
We had some problems with you. They didn't put you on the roster. The computer work didn't get done when we made the recall from Scranton, tried to rush to get him off the bus.
Because Ed Wade was serious, you know, he didn't mess around. I saw him in there and I realized, okay, this must be real.
You know what the biggest problem is with this whole thing? Do you honestly think Major League Baseball would make me a member of the World Cup?
You think about where the Phillies were when Ed was named general manager. They were the bottom of the National League. They didn't have a lot of talent.
When he told me, I think we got a shot at Jim Thome, I went, what?
He wrote an email, a really heartfelt email to Jim Thome. Jim and his wife both said that email meant a lot to them on a personal level and was a big factor in the reason why they chose Philadelphia.
And to get Jim Thome at that time when we were coming into the new ballpark was pretty special.
Free agents are great, but eventually you have to go down in that farm system and you need people to come up through the system.
How can you argue with the job they did? Look at the nucleus they brought to the majors with Jimmy, Chase, Ryan, Cole Hamels, Ruiz, Burrell. All those guys came through the system.
Being able to develop homegrown talent and then just add pieces to that homegrown talent with us all learning through the minor leagues what we were taught was the Philly way.
He said there's like a 5-year plan with these guys to get up here. Some years in the minor leagues, and give us about 5 years of being big leaguers, and we should be good.
Ed was not afraid to pull the trigger on a move, even if it was unpopular to the fan base.
He hired Charlie Manuel.
They bring in all of these accomplished managers. Jim Leland was definitely brought in, and that's the guy that everybody wanted.
And Ed took heat for it. Charlie was kicked around like an old football for a while.
Ed was really positive about his team, and he was definitely trying to set up a club that could win and get the World Series and stuff. That was what he was all about.
And he was just a fun guy to be around. Surely it was different, but I think it's what we needed at the time.
It goes back to the Phillies way and Ed's vision. He knew what players he wanted. He knew what scouts he needed and player development people. He also knew what major league manager and coaching staff he needed.
They did get good and stay good. It just took a while.
He was driven to win, to prove that he knew what it took and how to make it work.
His fingerprints were all over that trophy.
I think a lot of the credit for this celebration tonight should go to Ed Wade because he put together a lot of this team. 3/4 of our infield, Cole Hamels, Pat Burrell, they're all guys that...
You did make the addition of Matt Stairs, and that was a big home run.
I kind of filled in around what Ed had in place, and so a lot of credit should go to Ed Wade and his group because they did a tremendous job getting the nucleus here in Philadelphia.
Baseball is his passion. This town is his passion. He loved this city. He loved the Phillies of old. He cared a lot about the history of this team. And so it didn't go unnoticed when we won that, you know, he was kind of the architect behind it all.
All those players who came in, they're his legacy. And their legacy is the 2008 World Championship. It's 5 division titles in a row. It's the 2009 NLCS Championship. And boy, if that's not worth honoring, we might as well get rid of the Wall of Fame.
And to honor that vision, we are proud to induct Ed Wade onto the Phillies Wall of Fame.